All right, well, welcome everybody. This is a Surviving the Pandemic Part 3, the solution. Because with everything going on, we have the solution for it. And what the solution is going to be, we're going to open everything up. No restrictions, only if you want to. Right? Now, if we open everything up, we are going to expect a spike in cases. Right? But what we're going to do is we're not going to open it up immediately. We're going to give it 2 weeks to open up the country. And during that 2 weeks, we're going to get everybody as healthy as possible. We're going to get all the nutrients. We're start exercise. We do all the things that can boost the natural immune system. So when everyone comes out, we don't see such a high spike, but we can all get this country going again. Because what the experts are saying is, let me get this going. All right, so Harvard says this pandemic will last 12 to 18 months. Our country cannot last 12 to 18 months with the approach we're doing right now. It also says that it'll take 12 to 18 months to get a vaccine. Now, the good thing about the vaccine is, is that they also say that, you know what, coronavirus may never go away, even with the vaccine. Now, when it comes to the vaccine, there's a group out there that's creating a personalized medicine approach to the vaccine. What does that mean? That means that they're creating a vaccine for the elderly. They're creating a vaccine for the middle age. They're also creating a vaccine for the younger age groups. Now, this is a different approach to vaccines because the original approach is a one-size-fits-all approach, meaning that there's one vaccine for the elderly, for the middle age, for the younger group. Same amount, same doses for everybody, no matter if you are 250 pounds or 150 pounds. No matter if you have comorbidities, no matter if you get it in the morning, evening, if you get it in the middle of the day, it's all the same vaccine. Now that vaccine will come out before the personalized vaccine because the personalized vaccines are going to require more people to volunteer. We have to have 3,000 to 4,000 volunteers for each subgroup, and that's going to take some time. So that's going to be more into the future, but we will have the one-size-fits-all vaccine coming out earlier. Right? And with that, our goal is to lower the curve without widening the curve. Because we're doing okay job with what we're doing, the shelter in, the mask, all the things to lower the curve, but it's going to take too long. It's going to take 12 to 18 months of this approach where businesses go out of business, people are financially suffering. All right. So what we're seeing is that we wanted to lower the spike so the hospitals don't get overwhelmed. But what we're seeing is that the hospitals are not overwhelmed. They're actually needing business. They're actually putting their employees on furlough. They are asking for a bailout because they don't have people coming in due to the virus. Now, Dr. Schuholt is a pulmonologist, and he is in the critical care unit, and he sees the COVID-19 patients. And this is a drawing he put together that I wanted to share with you. And what he shows is that from 0 to 5 days, 100% of the people who get COVID-19 make it 0 to the 5th day, no symptoms. Then from the 5th day to the 12th day, 80% of those will go through symptoms and make it out. Then you're left with the 20% that is stuck in the hospital. The determining factor for that is the immunity of the individual, the innate immune system, the immune system we're born with. So how strong we are will determine how many people have to go to the hospital. Our current approach is for this. We have the isolation to make sure people don't get sick. And excuse me, and then we have it on the other side where we have the ventilators, we have the protective gear, we have the beds, we have the randomized controlled trials to get more medicine. So we're covering one aspect, which is make sure people don't get sick. And then we have the other end, make sure people don't die. Right? So that's the 20%, but now we are going to focus on the 80%. We're going to focus on building the immune system. What can we do to build the immune system in the next 2 weeks so we can all come out and we'll be stronger, right? And what we're going to do, leave it up to the people. If people are still concerned, they can still wear masks. If people want to stay sheltered in, go for it, but don't have to. But if we take 2 weeks and really focus on building our bodies, building our immune system, then we can make sure when we come out that the spike is not too high, people can still go to the hospital and not overwhelm the facilities. Right? Because what we're seeing now is that majority, 92% of Americans are vitamin deficient. Right? What we're seeing is that 9 out of 10 deficient in potassium, 7 out of 10 deficient in calcium, 80% deficient in vitamin E. If we were to correct nutrient deficiencies, not only will we have the best chance against COVID-19, we will decrease chronic disease. And the reason for this nutrient deficiency is because the soil itself is depleted. Before, farmers would have 2 farms. Right? They would grow on one and let the soil replenish itself. Not no more. Now they're growing constantly on both sides. Not only comes both sides, but they're using herbicides, insecticides, and it's depleting the soil. It'll take 3 apples to eat today to provide enough nutrients as 1 apple 30 years ago. So this is why it's so important to have a multivitamin, to have some sort of supplementation that's going to address the nutrient deficiencies. What we also see, exercise. 80% of Americans don't get the amount of exercise they need. What they're also shown is that nearly 60% of US adults don't do strength training. And then we have stress. And we know that the stress, the helpline is up almost 900% due to all of the COVID responses. Suicide is up. People are stressing out. They're not working. They're not doing all the things that they need to do to survive. And it's going up so much. So there's things that we need to address as we get healthier. Because with COVID-19, it has specific things that it does that's different from other COVIDs, other flu-like symptoms. And one of them is a microthrombi. Thrombi means clots. So there are micro clots that are being developed within the lungs. But what it's showing is that the alveoli, which are the smallest sacs with the exchange of oxygen into the blood, are getting these clots, and these clots are blocking the alveoli's ability to get the oxygen from the alveoli into the blood and allow you to breathe. And that's what's causing the trouble breathing. Right? What they're also seeing is that these clots are being seen in the kidneys, the blood vessels, heart, and it can even get to the brain. Okay? So as we come to the conclusions, I'm going to show you an awesome supplement that I'm taking myself that addresses the microclots. Also, which is very interesting with COVID-19, is that COVID-19 decreases monocytes. Monocytes are an immune system cell as part of your innate immunity. It's one of the first line of defenses when it comes to infection. The thing is, normally with infections, you'll get a high amount of monocytes because they are killing the bacteria, they're killing the viruses. But for some reason, COVID-19 will lower the monocytes. And that's how it evades the immune system, where you have a 5 to 10 day incubation period where you have the virus, but you're asymptomatic. So we're also going to look at how can we increase monocytes in our body. Oxidative stress is very interesting when it comes to COVID because it has a very interesting approach to oxidative stress that doctors are still trying to figure out. One of the ways is the process of turning water into superoxide. When you add an electron to water, it becomes superoxide. Superoxide is a form of a oxygen reactive species, like an antioxidant, right? So superoxide dismutase is a enzyme that helps take away superoxide. So I'm going to show you techniques that we can increase superoxide dismutase as well as the previous things that we talked about. So one is exercise, right? So rigorous exercise increases superoxide dismutase. Now, it has to be a certain level of intensity when it comes to your exercises. A walk is good, but it doesn't create the amount of stimulation to your immune system and to your body to increase the superoxide dismutase. So you have to sweat. You have to get your heart rate up, increase your core temperature to get to that level. What they also show is when you have a good intensity of exercise, it helps mobilize the circulation of natural killer T cells, another natural innate immune system cells, the natural killers. They attack, they kill the viruses, the bacteria right when they come in the body. And when you have the intensity higher up in your exercise, you can help circulate them through your body. And when they're circulating more, they're more ready and active to kill the bacteria, viruses right when they come in the body. Oh, nature. Now this has been taken away due to all the regulations and the shelter in. But what the show with nature is that it's called forest bathing. And with forest bathing, it enhances the natural killer cells just by walking in the forest. Right? You got to do it for an amount of time because the trees and the plants, they secrete chemicals. And you can breathe those chemicals in and it does wonders for the body. Also, nature itself produces negative ions. Now, the human body is more negatively ionic, just like the earth. But now, we are surrounded by positive ions from our laptops, from our phones. All the electricity around us are positive ions. And when we get overwhelmed with positive ions, our health begins to deplete. Right? So when you're out in nature, and this could be the forest, this could be out on the beach, right? It produces those negative ions and it balances your body out. And that's why we feel so relaxed when we're out in nature. Also, thermoregulation. This is awesome. So it shows that by being in a hot bath or a hot tub, nice and hot to the point where you are sweating, it stimulates monocytes in your body. Remember, COVID-19 lowers monocytes and it evades your immune system, and that's why it stays in our bodies without expressing a symptom for so long. So by engorging yourself, thermoregulation, hot temperature, you are able to boost your monocytes and help fight the virus. Also, when it shows, when you contrast the hot and the cold, you can do this in your shower, right? You get in your shower, you go 5 minutes hot, warm up, then boom, 1 minute cold. 3 minutes hot, 1 minute cold, 3 minutes hot, 1 minute cold, and boom, you're done. And you just strengthen your autonomic nervous system's adaptability. So when any sort of virus comes in, your body's ready to attack it. Saunas, baths, all these things, they even prevent the common cold. You see, with our approach with COVID-19, it's a new virus. So there's so many experimentations going on trying to figure it out. But if we focus more now on the human immune system, the human immune system hasn't changed. So we can go back. Thermoregulation has been around for years, centuries, right? They started they went away from thermoregulation when penicillin came out. Okay? So this is a historical way of boosting the immune system. There's another study. It shows how increasing the heat, you're exciting almost a fever in the body helps boost the immune system. All right, so what about supplements? You know, over 90% of the people who went into the hospital for COVID-19 were vitamin D deficient. They showed that in vitamin D, now you can get this in supplement form, you can get this by being outside, right? And what they showed is that vitamin D helps reduce the lung infections by 50%, 50% by vitamin D. Now the thing is with vitamin D is something we take just all the time, right? Because it's not as fast acting for the immune system as like a vitamin C, where like we get sick, we just take a lot of vitamin C and our immune system responds. Vitamin D is one of those where you take for a long time and it slowly elevates your immune system to a higher level. But that's why as we begin to focus on our immune system, it could take 3 to 4 months for all these things to interact to make our immune system stronger. That's why it's so important to do these things now as compared to reacting if we were to get infected. But also, this study showed that vitamin D decreases the chances of getting a respiratory infection. Vitamin C, right? Vitamin C shortens this, this is the study shows, shortens the stay in the ICU. Right? Guys, these are the things we can just start taking every day. We've been taking vitamin C for the past 2 months with this. This is the bundle that I am taking personally. It has a whole, it has pretty much anything to help boost the immune system. What it has in it, first has our Veggie Plus. Now the Veggie Plus is the one we have here in the office. There's super good for the free radicals, like the superoxide. Free radicals destroy with the Veggie Plus. On top of that, this is the supplement that I'm taking for the blood vessels, because those microclots, they decrease the flexibility of the blood vessels. With this supplement, it also increases nitric oxide. Nitric oxide helps dilate your blood vessels to improve the flow. Now, with your exercise as well, your exercise will help improve the flexibility of your blood vessels, as long as you keep it up on a higher intensity. So if you like to walk, but then speed it up for about 10 steps. Get a little jog in there. Then you can walk again. And do that as sort of interval to get your body ready for the higher intensities. And you see, if you guys, we don't carry these in the office. You can order these online. And right down there is the doctor code, and you get a 10% off if when you buy for the first time. Now, out of the whole custom pack, this one is the main thing. And if you're going to get any of the supplements, this one's it. So it comes with a whole food vitamin. It comes with adrenal support. Now, adrenal glands are for stress response. And right now, the stress is so heavy that our adrenal glands are getting taxed. They're getting overwhelmed. And that's what shows in fatigue. We're not sleeping well. We're not recovering well. So there is adrenal support with this health pack. Also comes with vitamin D. Now this vitamin D comes with a vitamin K2 as well, because what they showed is that in order to get the best out of the vitamin D, vitamin K, they partner together and get the most effect. Also comes with antibacterial, antiviral, and a probiotic. So this is one of the ones that I highly recommend. We're not selling them here in the office, but we have them on display. Also now, spinal hygiene, okay? Because we know that 90% of the stimulation and nutrition to your brain comes from movement of the spine. So we talked about forward head posture, and we know forward head posture is when your ear is not above your shoulder. And what that does, that decreases the amount of oxygen you could breathe in. Now, remember, when you get those microclots in the alveoli, they can't exchange. You can't take that deep breath, but if you already have forward head posture, you are already at a disadvantage. On top of that, they talk about severe hyperkyphosis, and the hyperkyphosis is a rounding of the shoulders. That will also affect lung function in two ways. Mechanically, because you are shutting off the amount of airspace you can breathe in, but also it affects the nerves in your upper back, and those nerves go straight to the lungs. Now, when we talk about the monocytes, right, when you get adjusted, it boosts monocytes. So for all the patients who are continuously getting adjusted, you are doing the best thing for your body because you're boosting the monocytes. And what they showed is that the monocytes are boosted even hours after you get adjusted. So this was a patient who recently came in, 45-year-old female. She was referred in by her cousin. She has headaches, fatigue, constipation. She's always sick. And when we look at this scan, remember, this is the thermography scan. This is the scan that measures inflammation, the nerves that are controlling the organs, glands, blood vessels, her immune system. And she has severe inflammation on the top of her neck. Those are controlling the blood and oxygen to the brain. Those are controlling the ears, eyes, nose, throat, her diaphragm and breathing. This patient is going to get so well. She's so excited. She had second adjustment already has more energy. She is breathing, and her mood is already getting better. I'm so excited to see how she progresses. So what we're doing, guys, is we're doing COVID risk assessments for family members, for our patients, and because I know that there are people out there, they're still kind of concerned, right? They want to come out, but they're just not sure. So what the COVID risk assessment is we're going to go through a detailed history of the comorbidities, the risk factors that family members might be in. We're going to take a look at what have they been doing for the past 2 months, 3 months with this shelter in. Then we have the COVID risk, we have the structural assessments, the neurological assessments, as well as we're doing a metabolic testing to check what is the metabolic age of our family members. Because we want to, and what that is the metabolic age is how old are our organs. And now, if our organs are older than our chronological age, that means it's going to be more susceptible to getting the virus. And if they're more susceptible to have a severe response. All right. Now, if you have family members that want to get checked out, have them text us. Jessica will reach out and contact them. Guys, if you guys have questions, shoot us some questions out. I know we went over a lot of information with supplements, all this stuff. Go ahead and shoot some questions. What kind of questions do you guys got? Let me set it up so I can see your questions. All right. Yeah, so good question. So about vitamin D. So the best way to utilize the vitamin D is with the vitamin K. They partner together to enhance the effects of the vitamin D. Great question. All right. Also, Yes, you can. We have the information. I'm going to post this on the YouTube. And then Dr. Vanessa will also send you out the links for the vitamins as well tomorrow. All right, guys. All right, any more questions, guys? Oh, we got another one coming in. All right, Leslie, Vitamin C, will you post the recommended doses? Yeah, you know what? The recommended doses, absolutely, we'll do that. I'll send that with the email coming in tomorrow. Great question. All right, guys, any more questions? I'll hang out for a couple more minutes. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. And I hope you got some great questions. And when you guys come in, let us know if you have questions or how we can, if anything you want us to plug in for the next webinar. All right, we got another question. You're welcome, Annette. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to close it out. Thank you all so much for hanging out. We'll see you on your next visit.